Welcome to The Latter-day Lens, your home for faith-promoting, unscripted discussion of current events. If you'd like to contact us, you can send us a text message through the link in the show notes. You could also email us, latterdaylens@gmail.com. If you want to know more about the show, please visit our website, latterdaylens.com. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Latter-day Lens. I'm your host, Matt. With me, as always, is Shawn, and we're back to having a third guest with us. Melanie is with us this week. Welcome, Melanie.
Thank you. It's been too long.
Melanie,
way too long. Way too long.
I think I told you this, Melanie, but I was talking to somebody recently, and they told me that you are their favorite host on the Latter-day Lens podcast, which made me want to not invite you back because...
Ouch! I'm just happy that people are finally realizing that I'm cooler than you.
Hey, that's that's why I'm like, maybe not have Melanie back. Well, there's a lot of stuff in the listener mailbag, and I didn't have time to open all of it. So I'm focused on the first-time commenters. So both of these are comments from people who have not commented in the past. So the first listener writes, "Great show, keep it up. Regarding free market healthcare stuff, removing barriers to antibiotics would increase antibiotic-resistant bacteria due to misuse or overuse of those types of drugs. Sometimes people don't even understand you can't use antibiotics for a viral infection. This is an example of rational individual choice. I'm sick, I need treatment, leading to collective irrational outcomes. Love the show." I think that comment is probably a little dated. I think it's a topic we discussed a while back, but I always like new comments and new listeners commenting, so I have no response to that.
You have no response to that? Okay, Joe versus a volcano.
Shawn has a response. This happens all the time, that people do what's individually rational for them, and it leads to bad public health or public goods, which is why I'm for government intervention, because sometimes you have to do what's not in your own individual self-interest in order to make things better for everybody else. And that's why Shawn hates it, because Shawn likes for people to be able to do what's like in their best interest, even if it doesn't lead to a greater good for everyone else.
I just wonder if it's like actually a rational self-interest thing, right? Because if you have a viral infection, taking antibiotics won't help. So if instead of saying we're going to restrict antibiotics, we just placed an emphasis on like informing people of the kinds of medications they need for different diseases, if that could also fix the problem. But yeah. I don't know a ton about the context in which this question was asked.
Yeah, in my experience, educating people never works. So I don't think that education is ever the answer, because it doesn't seem to work. I mean, I say that as an educator.
But maybe you're just a bad educator.
Oh, I love it when Melanie's feisty. Shawn jumped off. Let the listeners know Shawn jumped off for a second, but he'll join us again, and he'll jump back on in a second, and it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Another listener wrote in and said, Order 6-7 has been taken out of In-N-Outs because of how obnoxious kids were being. Now, Melanie, you didn't listen to the podcast last week, but we discussed how someone I was at In-N-Out with was so excited to see Order 6-7, and then they missed it. And so this listener was letting us know In-N-Out just dropped it because people.
Yeah, I just think it's discriminatory to call it disruptive. Like if someone laughs at 6-7, it's funny. We did it with 420. We did it with 69. I'm sure you had your numbers way back then.
420 is the marijuana one?
Yeah.
6-7 is like the kids are way obnoxious though, right? They jump up and down and scream and they throw things around and the rest. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. I've never been in an In-N-Out when it happened.
Yeah. Yeah, to me, 6-7 is like way younger than even you. It's like elementary school or junior high school kids, like screaming and yelling for no particular reason, saying 6-7.
Yeah, I think it spans a couple generations, because I definitely have peers who think it's really funny.
Okay, well, we have Shawn back, so now we're going to jump to the thought provoker this week.
Woohoo!
Unless, Shawn, did you want to say something about In-N-Out getting rid of Order 6-7? Shawn's like,
it makes me sad. I want to.
Yeah, I bet. Every time I hang out with Shawn, he's
all
like,
those kids.
He's like 6-7, 6-7. All right. So first up this week, I've started doing this a little bit more for Shawn because I know he loves church-related topics. So this is like as church-related as I
Doctrinal
can.
church-related topics. This isn't doctrinally church-related.
Kind of, it could be. Okay, so the church announced the new mission presidents that are starting their service in 2026. And I sent the list to the hosts of the I asked ChatGPT. No, ChatGPT wasn't good at it. I asked Gemini, go through this list and tell me anybody that's noteworthy. And so then it gave me this list that I sent to the hosts. But making the list is Robbie Bosco, the quarterback of BYU when they won the championship in 1984. He's going to be a mission president. And other famous people, or I would say like noteworthy people. The question is this. Does the list of who gets called as mission presidents tell us anything meaningful? There are just as many people who are just simple, ordinary church members who get called as mission presidents as there are noteworthy church members. And so the question is, why does the church post this list?
So I've got to say, my preparation for this question was very different because you did not tell me this was a Gemini-generated list of the notable mission presidents. I thought the church had like released a separate one or something, and I was like, that's weird.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, I see. Yeah, the church, at some point, they'll tell us their bios, but it'll only be stuff like, so-and-so served in this calling at this point in their life.
Fair.
So tell us about your prep, Melanie. Tell us what you concluded.
So I thought if the church was releasing a list of like celebrity mission presidents, that would be really weird. But otherwise, I think like providing
just Matt. Only Matt. Only your dad did that.
He's the only one who cares about the quarterback.
Well, no, we've got somebody who was an executive at Qualtrics, and we've got CES directors, and we've got somebody who co-founded Orange Soda, and the CEO of Priceline, and the co-founder of Beachbody. Like, there's a lot of like big name people.
I noticed how you was it Michelle D. Craig, Sister Eubank? There was someone on that list, like a former Relief Society president.
Michelle Craig was the first counselor in the Young Women's General Presidency, and she and her husband will be in the Canada-Toronto East mission. That's true. I did skip her.
That sounds kind of sexist to me, Dad.
Well, so Shawn, does it matter like who the people are that get called? Like, why do they do that?
Well, I mean, there's two questions there. Why they do it? I think it's just fun. They haven't always done this. I think just within culturally, it's just fun to see. Oh, I know that guy. Like Robbie Bosco, all of us from a certain generation, we know that guy. We're like, oh, that's fun. That's cool. That's nice to know Robbie Bosco, who played at BYU and then 2 years in the NFL, is still an active member of the church. That's great. That's great. So I think it's just fun. I don't think there's any like strategy here. I don't think. Yeah. The second question was, is there any kind of like, is there a difference between like, any meaningful? I mean, we live in a lay leadership church, right? You have to have means in order to go away for 3 years, right? Yeah. So naturally, you're going to be calling people who have means. Is that possibly?
Yeah. Or people who are retired, I guess, right? You have to be retired, or. Although I don't know for sure, but I think our mission president, because he was a native Ukrainian, I think the church helped support them on their mission. I think there's some people, you don't have to have means to be a mission president. I think if you don't have money, they'll still call you. I guess you have to be able to leave a job for 3 years.
Yeah, I think this might have changed over the years, though, because both of my mission presidents, one was a lawyer and one was a dentist.
And so they could leave their jobs and come back to it?
Mm-hmm. And they had very nice, like, quality of life.
Yeah.
Look, as time goes on, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I'm more and more convinced as time goes on that when the scriptures say, be anxiously engaged in good causes and just go and magnify callings, it doesn't always mean, in fact, probably less than often means, wait till someone calls you to do something and then go magnify that calling. I'm more and more convinced that what the Lord wants us to do is be proactive in going out and being involved in our neighbors and our church members' lives, like engage and serve. And I think like these callings, we do put a lot of status kind of, I don't know, we give them a little too much status. Mission presidents are awesome, and that's a cool opportunity for them. It's a cool opportunity for their families. And if they're good at what they do, they really have an opportunity to touch 500 lives, like kids, right? Like do good with 500-600 kids. That's awesome. But I guarantee you, Matt, you've influenced in a bishopric 500-600 kids' lives. You know what I mean? It's like, I think we put a little too much weight in there's a status here. So piling on top of, they're a mission president. Oh, they're a C-list LDS celebrity. I don't know. It's a little distracting, I guess. It's just fun for us, though, right?
When I was younger, I so desperately wanted to be a mission president. I was like, that would be the coolest calling. I would love that so much. And there are times
you don't get to proselytize, Matt.
I know. And my son, who's currently serving, the more I hear about what's going on in missions, the more I'm like, because the mission president has to interview every missionary like every 6 weeks or something like that. And you have to, maybe it's every month, you have to do transfers. You have to like work with, there's a lot of work to be a mission president. And so increasingly I'm like, I don't think I want that. But I do know people, and I, at different times in my life, of sort of when I was thinking about my career, I thought, okay, would this put me in a position that I could be called as a mission president if I needed to be called as a mission president? But I don't know that I would do that now if I were starting all over again. I don't know that I would think that way.
Yeah.
Would you? Go ahead.
I do think, like, thinking about Shawn's comment and what you said, Dad, about like how when mission presidents are called, a bio is released of their callings. I do think it's important to recognize that we have opportunities to serve outside of callings. And so as much as like, I would love to be a mission leader one day. I think that would be so fun. I think it's important to say, like, how can I serve where I'm at right now? And how am I going to do that? More so than say, wow, I really wish I were a mission president because then I'd be in the cool kid club. Because that's what
I've got an idea of how to satisfy. Yeah. And I've got an idea of how to satisfy Matt's desire to be in that cool kids club. I'm going to start publishing a newsletter, and I'll just announce everyone's callings. I'll just announce it. I'll publish it. I'll announce it. Like, Matt Miles is primary teacher for the 3-year-olds.
Valiant tens.
And
Valiant tens.
And you've done this, and you've done this, and you've done this, and that way you get that recognition. You good with that?
No. But I like the idea, Shawn.
Anytime someone in my Relief Society is like, my dad's a bishop right now, I'm going to be like, well, guess what? My dad's a primary teacher.
So I got my temple recommend renewed on Sunday, and the guy in the stake president, he's a friend of mine from my department. So we're just sitting down visiting, and he's like, so what's your calling right now? I'm like, I teach primary. And we're talking about how awesome it is. He's like, I'd love to serve in the primary. And I was like, well, you only have like another 5 years in the stake presidency. And he's like, I enjoy my calling. I'm like, I'm sure you do. But in the end, he's like, I'm going to just try to vicariously enjoy your calling through you because I don't get to have a primary call. Like, I don't know. There's like the callings you have, you tend to love them, right? No matter what they are. But more and more, I think primary is where it's at because it's not so demanding and you sure get the same blessings that you get even if you're a stake president.
But Matt, it does seem like as we get older now and we've experienced a big chunk of all the callings that exist, it does seem to me that it's less about status and it's way more about this is service. Like we're investing time. And so like your primary calling, like I was the music leader in primary for a long time. And in the beginning I was like, what? Why am I doing that? But by the end I was like, dude, I have made such impact on so many of these little kids. Like we are best friends for life. And the service, the commitment and the magnifying that I put into it is way more important than whatever title or whatever false kind of reputation comes with a title and a calling. I don't think it's about the titles, right? Like my buddy he's in the bishopric and then he was in the stake presidency and now he's in primary. And I hated seeing all the attention that guy got in the bishopric and the stake presidency, and now he gets no attention from anybody.
But don't you think
why?
That's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. Jesus didn't get any attention for his callings, right?
Yeah, but why I don't like that we give attention to like stake presidents and bishops and not the primary people. It's just
I've thought a lot about that. I think it's because everybody recognizes that bishops and stake presidents are doing so much more work than everybody else. And it's sort of like, I don't want to put all that time into the church. And so it's like gratitude, right? You pray for them. You're like anything to help you out because you feel bad for them and all the work they have to do. I think it's that.
That was my point. My point, Matt, was though that you in the primary calling need to put as much time into that calling as they do. Oh,
Shawn, when I was a bishop, it was easily 20 hours a week, just bishop stuff.
so
Like, oh
what,
my
your
heavens,
kids in your ward don't deserve 20 hours a week?
they do not.
You don't
They do
love
not
them?
mean-
Their souls aren't valuable?
That's what I'm trying to say. Their souls aren't valuable enough for me to spend 20 hours a week. No, it's like if 20. My lesson that I do one lesson per month, and on a good day, I get 25 minutes for that lesson. So you're saying I should spend 1 hour per week per minute of teaching that I'm going to do in that class.
Go visit those kids at their homes. Deliver to them a spiritual message. Invest in them, man. I
I'm
don't know.
invested in them, yeah. It just doesn't take as much time. Shawn, you get the points for that because there was very the way you made me feel shame for not spending 20 hours a week in primary. That's like point worthy. That's really good.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Nice.
All right, next up. Ex-users tell Grok to undress women and girls in photos, and it is saying yes.
Whoa.
Yeah, the site is filled with AI-generated, non-consensual, sexualized images of women and children. Owner Elon Musk has responded to this with laughing emojis. There's some countries are like trying to put a stop to this. I read recently that I think it's Malaysia and perhaps Indonesia have banned Grok in their countries, and England is investigating it in some way they do things. But anyhow, there's two comments on this story that I thought stood out. Some people say that this situation exposes blatant hypocrisy, arguing that those who claim to protect women and children are willing to tolerate or encourage AI-driven sexualization and harassment when it targets their political opponents. Others say the deeper danger is that unregulated AI creates cover for the powerful, allowing real evidence of abuse to be dismissed as fake and shielding elites from accountability. So the question is, because I know Shawn hates laws, what should be done to solve this problem? Shawn hates laws. If I say make it illegal, Shawn will say, boo, boo, don't make it illegal.
I'm for just laws. I'm for laws that protect our freedoms. I'm for laws. I'm not against laws. But Melanie, your opinion here is very important.
Yeah.
And you're here because the people have requested you to be here. So let's hear it.
You're just avoiding the question, Shawn.
No,
I'll have my turn.
Okay. Okay.
You go first, Melanie. You tell us. Tell us why it's so wrong to make deep fake nudes of young women.
I don't think I should have to tell you why this is so wrong. I think the point raised about
That's not the question.
Obscuring actual abuses is very real and very valid. Because while right now AI generated images are like not impossible to spot, if they get much better, it could become very, very difficult to tell when there are actual legitimate crimes being committed against defenseless populations. And I also think it's a horrible invasion of privacy to have AI generate an image of somebody's body that they did not consent to. And I think that if that is happening, the platform should be shut down unapologetically.
Mm-hmm. I remember, Melanie, this would be like maybe 10 years ago. You were like, do not post photos of me on Instagram when your account is public because I don't want people taking those images. And I was like, you're so naive. You don't understand the way things are. But when Sandra read this story, she's like, whoa, I don't want to put any images online ever again because people can just take those images and create deepfakes based on those images.
Right. It's dangerous.
And you would both feel violated. I'm different. If somebody did that with me, I would not feel violated. I would feel proud that they chose me to be like the deepfake.
So do you actually think that you would feel that way?
I think I would. I'm very vain, and I'm very like yeah. If it was my face, you could put anything. You could put my face on anything, and it would make me happy. And so that's why I don't think I understand.
It draws attention.
See, the thing is, like, remember that comedian on the Carnival Cruise Line, or whatever cruise that you like to talk about? I know a lot of women, like, we've had conversations about catcalling, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of the times when you've never been catcalled, you're kind of like, oh, maybe that would be flattering. Maybe it would be a compliment, you know? They think I'm cute. And then the minute it happens, you just feel degraded and violated and like a piece of trash. And you don't anticipate the way you're going to feel until that happens.
Okay, I can appreciate that. Yeah. Okay. So in that context, then I say that this should never happen, and nobody should ever be able to make money off of somebody doing that to somebody else.
Amen.
Okay,
So,
Shawn, what do you say? Wait, so how do you stop it? I think I'm with Melanie on this one. You stop it by, if that happens on your platform, I don't care who does it. If it's your platform that hosts that material, your platform's gone. You're shut down. We ban you like we did TikTok.
Hey!
So you guys think that we need people out there in the government policing everything that gets put on social media by individuals, right? Because this is a nice, easy one to be like, that's horrible. That's horrible to do something like that to someone. So let's do something about that. But what if it's not so clear cut? What if, for example, Matt decides to testify of Jesus Christ, and someone at some point says, we don't like that. Cut it off. Like, so you guys think that we should be policing everything that everyone does with threat of, we don't get platforms that allow people to have free speech?
I think that there's limits to free speech. And so just like we limit certain activities, there's some kind of speech that's not allowed, right? So we wouldn't allow, for example, if a platform was making death threats to the president of the United States, you're going to hold that individual accountable for making death threats because that's not allowed. So some things just aren't allowed.
Because that's against the law. That's against the law. Making a death threat to someone, that's against the law, punishable.
So to me, this is worse than a death threat, right? And so this should be against the law.
Worse than a death threat?
100%.
Yeah. Taking an image of somebody and turning it into a nude is worse than a death threat.
What if I took an image of you and, I don't know, made you like super heavy, or put a scar on your face, or made you uglier, or made you bald? Does that fall in the same category, or is there some line here that you're willing to cross and you're just not willing to cross, explicit sexuality?
I think that for me, it's going to be sexually explicit stuff. Other sorts of jokes or making fun of a person's weight or whatever, that's a different realm than sexually explicit content.
And like when I think about it, I feel like there are very few things as important as one's own self, right? And so I think taking an image of someone and making them say something that they didn't say, that they wouldn't say, I think that's morally wrong. I think that should be punishable. Maybe not as severely as explicit images. But I think like by creating explicit images of someone who did not provide explicit images, you're ascribing an intent to them that they likely did not mean to convey. And I think that is morally wrong. And I think it should not be done.
So isn't there a law against that? Like, that's kind of defamation, right? So a civil lawsuit, you could civilly, like some celebrity who gets these nasty photos, you don't need AI for it. You can even Photoshop. Like, there's always been around. And then you have a civil lawsuit, and whomever posted it or whoever is allowing it to be posted or promotes it is made to pay big fines, and that's a deterrent. No?
Well, so that's what I'm saying is we need to pass laws that hold the social media companies accountable for the content on their platforms. Just like we do newspapers.
That's a slippery
slope.
Just
like we do with television networks, we do it with cable TV, we do it with radio stations. So the only way you really
But it's a different beast. It's not a newspaper.
I think not everyone has the resources to take their case to court, right? So if you're underprivileged, you don't have the money to enter into a civil lawsuit against someone who posted an explicit image of you, you should not be less entitled to protection than someone with those means. And so the only way to protect everyone equally is to target the software that's making it possible.
Or like Shawn, if it's some kid in high school, I can sue that kid for everything they have, but they don't have anything. So it doesn't fix the problem. But Elon Musk has deep pockets. And I tell you, I could get a class action lawsuit against Elon Musk for $1 billion, and this stuff would go away forever. He would not be posting laughing emojis if he knew he was facing $1 billion lawsuit.
But that's a civil lawsuit, right? So if you can really find that someone was emotionally damaged or physically damaged from all this, or it's defamation, and you can show that.
But he's protected by laws that say Twitter or X cannot be sued for content posted on X. And I'm saying change
all right,
that
so let me
law.
give you another scenario. Let's say you're at a public high school, and let's say something happens in that public high school that, is something similar, right? Someone takes pictures of someone or does something to someone that is really damaging. Should I be able to also sue the school, right?
Sure.
It was enabled in that school.
For sure.
Really?
And you should be able to sue teachers that knew about it and didn't do anything to stop it. And you should be able to sue the principal if they knew about it and didn't do anything to stop it. Those laws exist right now that you could sue those people. So I'm just saying, hold Elon Musk to the same standard that everybody else in society is being held to.
What if he came through? What if these platforms have most platforms do, right? Like, this has explicit content, this doesn't. You're going to find shady, weird stuff over here. This is safe. You're going to, cable TV does that. Netflix does that, right? You're able to filter through and go, I don't want to take a part in this dark web stuff. I would rather take part in upfront stuff. And it does get policed in that way. Is it then now, are they covering themselves? Would that be a better environment? Now you have to go, look, I don't want to have anything to do. No, you don't think so?
Well, I think first off, the problem isn't that there's pornography on X. It's that it's pornography of a population that did not agree to have those explicit images produced. And I also think, the more you allow it, the more this could be used to target, say, children, which is a horrifying, terrible possibility.
Right. It's a crime to have child porn on your computer, right? But it's not clear if it's AI generated or not AI generated. Is it a crime to have AI generated child porn? Because in theory, that's not child porn, right? That's like AI. There's like a gray space there where people could. So if it's wrong to have child porn, then it should be wrong to host and create those sorts of things of adults and non-consenting individuals.
Okay, I think maybe you two have convinced me. I think I'd be good with laws that are protecting the innocent. So I think I think you've convinced me. Let's pass some laws. Not necessarily let's go and sue and take down the platform, but let's make strong laws that make it pretty scary for them not to self-police.
I'll give points to Melanie on this one because she persuaded me that even I would be sad about having fake nudes of myself put on Twitter. I thought I would like it. Thank you. Okay. This one I think is going to make Shawn a little uncomfortable. So Mitt Romney, who we know Shawn loves Mitt Romney. He won't even be sad to say he loves Mitt Romney. He wrote an op-ed he wrote an op-ed in the New York Times with a new proposal that he calls taxing the rich to save Social Security and Medicare from going bankrupt. He's not talking about raising taxes on everyday families. Instead, he's targeting multi-billionaires and mega estates worth over $100 million. Romney argues that the ultra-wealthy are using massive loopholes to avoid paying taxes on their investments and real estate deals, money the government desperately needs to prevent a 23% cut to Social Security benefits by the year 2034. His message is simple. To save the system for everybody, it's time to go where the money is and make the wealthiest Americans pay their fair share. The question is Mitt Romney's proposal something that members of our church should get behind? Yes, 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 yes.
Absolutely not.
Okay, Shawn, you go first this time.
Okay, it's okay. Look, it's okay for me to, yeah.
By the way, I trust Mitt Romney's latter-day lens on this particular topic. I think he knows.
More than Shawn's?
That was passive-aggressive.
Go ahead, Shawn. Tell us
it's
more.
Okay it's okay to love someone's general. Like, I love Mitt Romney. I think he's done a great job. He's a great man. He's really impressed with him. And it's okay that he's wrong on something. It's okay that I can disagree with certain things. That's okay. And here's the thing. we were offline having a discussion with some friends about healthcare and about or helping the poor. Actually, here's the thing: when we make everything about money, it's all just about money. We're looking past what the true solutions to things are. Like Mitt Romney, by delineating, well, a certain dollar amount is qualified to pay more taxes, more than a fair share of taxes, versus a line of dollar or money income that will not make you pay that. Like you're making it about dollars, and it's not about that. It's not. It's the worship of money that makes us so, I guess, missing the spot on this. Right, solving people's problems, like hard work, teaching people to work hard, to be better educated, right, to build good relationships, to know how to network. These are the things that will help people not need to rely on some government for some, food stamps, for example, right? But I don't like that politicians, they step back and go, okay, how can we as a system take away the individuals and the faces and the real people? How can we as a system try and solve something with a swoop, with one big picture? And Mitt Romney's thing is, let's throw money at it. Let's just throw money at it. I think he's wrong.
Well, what he's saying is Social Security and Medicare are systems that you pay into, right? So if you have a job, your employer takes some of your wage and puts it into Social Security, and your employer has to also contribute money to Social Security. And so the idea is that everybody pays into Social Security while they're working. And then at the end, when you retire, then there's some retirement money for you from Social Security. And the problem, there's two problems. The one of the problems is that the federal government has taken money out of that Social Security pot to spend on other things that they shouldn't have spent money on. The other problem is that Social Security and Medicare has always been thought of as a plan for poor people, and so the rich people don't have to pay into it. So if you make an income over $174,000 a year, they no longer take money from your paycheck to put it into Social Security because you're exempt from that plan. Or if you're a real estate developer and you don't earn a wage, you never have to pay into Social Security because you have capital gains as your primary source of income, not the wages that you earn. So if you don't earn a wage, or if you earn too much of a wage, you don't pay into the system. And Mitt Romney's just saying everybody should have to pay into the Social Security system, and that's the only way to save the Social Security system. Does that change what you think?
All I'm saying is all I'm saying is the big picture is, if there's not enough money to take care of the people that are relying on for their retirement, relying on the government's program and system, I think we've got a flawed program there.
Yeah.
We need to help each other be self-sufficient. We need to help each other learn how to have the skills and rely on ourselves and on our families and on our churches and religions and like the big picture problem there. Yeah, he's just looking at the money and going, well, there's not enough money in there to take care of all the demanding poor that are going to need it.
Yeah.
There's a much deeper problem there. Money's not the solution to that, I don't think.
I think Robin Hood was right, Shawn. Take from the rich and give to the poor. Was Robin Hood a prophet?
Depends on which Robin Hood you're talking about. The cartoon Fox Robin Hood, I would say prophet. Who's the other dude? The actor
Errol Flynn.
Errol
Flynn.
Oh. Errol Flynn? I don't think
Kevin Costner.
No. Kevin Costner's not a prophet, but Fox is.
What do you say, Melanie?
Melanie, you agree with your dad, don't you?
I think there's something within me that really, really doesn't like the thought of billionaires. And, maybe it's jealousy. Maybe it's something else. But I really like the idea of taking all of the money away from billionaires until they are no longer billionaires.
How
what
much
principle drives that?
Hey,
how much is the max?
Know.
Do you define a billionaire by their worth on paper or by how much income they are generating for themselves each year?
I think if you
that's the wrong question to ask. The question to ask is
private airplane, you have too much money.
Oh.
Please don't say anything about my obsession with sailboats.
What?
but there is this. I wonder what you say to this, Shawn. Jesus did tell that rich young man to sell everything he had and give it to the poor and then follow Jesus. So I think, Shawn, somewhere you do believe that
Did he
rich
say-
people.
Did he look?
Go ahead.
Did he turn his head to Matt and go steal all of the money from that rich man and give it to the poor? Beat him up, put a gun to his face, put him in prison if he doesn't give it up, steal it from him, and then give. Is that what Jesus taught?
Right. So I think you agree with the idea that the rich should give to the poor. You don't like the idea of them being compelled to do so. But you do think that there is a religious principle that rich people should give back.
I'm fine with a fair share. What does it have to do with how much money you have? Stop making it about money. It has nothing to do with whether you're rich or a billionaire or a millionaire. If you're obsessed with sailboats or with private planes, it doesn't matter. Everyone can pay their fair share. I'm fine with living in a society that says, hey, if we all agree mutually that we're going to put in X amount or a percentage or whatever. And hey, if we're upset with laws that make loopholes, then stop making laws with loopholes.
We don't have the power to stop making those laws.
Yeah, it's too hard.
Maybe one day. Maybe one day.
Okay, but I'm going to take your analogy, Shawn. What if there's 100 people, right? And 99 of those 100 people say our fair share is that this one person who's got $1 billion and the rest of us who have $150,000, we vote 99-1 to take his $1 billion and share it with the rest of us. You'd call that theft, even if it was done through a democratic vote process.
That's also social. Democratic socialism.
Yeah. I cannot get Shawn to come around on the idea that we should raise taxes on rich people more than we do on poor people.
Do you think there's a way we could sell him on the rich people do not have money proportional to the amount of work they put in to get that money?
What the? Why would you claim to even think that, Melanie? What percentage of ultra wealthy in our government or in our country were self-made versus inherited? Do you know that number?
But I think self-made doesn't necessarily correlate to a perfect amount of work.
Yeah. A lot of self-made people just stole it, Shawn. That made them self.
Okay. Now you're mocking me.
El Chapo's a self-made billionaire. He sold drugs and killed people.
I think we give credit to the people who have a good intuition for money and finances, right? Because they're able to play the stock market. They're able to play businesses and make a lot of money, and that's where the money is. But I think we don't acknowledge the fact that some people may be more naturally inclined towards menial labor. And for not having the intuition for money and finances, they're penalized to have a lower quality of life for the rest of forever.
Okay. Whether I engage in menial labor and make minimum wage, or I am really good at the stock market and have, in either situation, the scriptural gospel principle is if you earn this much, spend this much less. Spend less than you earn. And if you will do that, there will be money in there to, for example, put in the stock market, and then that will grow. In fact, the Lord gave us many, many parables about that, right? Here's a talent. Now, I don't care that if in the end you come back with 3 million talents, but I do care that you took that talent, treated it wisely, and improved it. At least doubled it, right? It hasn't, but that guy received everything the Lord had just as much as the guy who brought back 3 million talents. It doesn't matter how much talents we have. It matters what we do with it.
I want to continue this so bad, Shawn, but this wasn't the question and we should probably move on. So can I give you my points? I'll give you my points, Shawn.
Yes. Oh, no.
I'm giving Shawn the points as well because he brought in the latter-day lens. But also I'm going to just say this. I think Mitt Romney's wrong as well. My solution to the problem is not to tax anybody. It's just to print more dollars. Print more dollars until the problem goes away, because we can print dollars and then that's totally fair because everybody's dollars are worth the same amount less equally. And then we have this fair share of nobody's paying more, nobody's paying less, but everybody has less because we're just printing more dollars.
I motion to get rid of money and go back to barter.
Now you're talking. No, I mean, but naturally, money is going to exist from that.
But you get the point, Shawn. That was good. Okay, we're going to move to the big question. I am so excited to talk about this big question. Listeners, you're going to have to just bear with me as I set this up. And I will say at the beginning of all of this, I took a family vacation to Roswell, New Mexico. We went to the museum where they have all of the evidence from the Roswell UFO crash. Melanie was there with me. So whatever response she has to this, you just have to know she has been exposed.
I need a listener to write in and ask my dad how many times he's told this story.
I've never heard this story.
This is the first time on the podcast. But I will say, Melanie has all kinds of information at her disposal as she answers this question. Okay,
Written
so
in Calibri 11.5 font on poster board.
Melanie's not a fan of the museum, but listener, go to Roswell, go to the museum, and judge for yourself. Don't let her sway your opinion too much. Okay, there's this new movie out on Amazon Prime. It's called The Age of Disclosure. I haven't seen the film, but I read about the film, and I'm familiar with the evidence they use in the film. They present testimony from former and current government and military officials who claim that extraterrestrial intelligence exists, and they show evidence of non-human technology that has been recovered and concealed for decades. While the film offers no publicly verifiable physical proof, it argues that the volume... The hosts are already laughing. It argues that the volume and consistency of insider testimony point to the real possibility that intelligent life beyond Earth exists and may already be observing humanity. Now, if we go to the scriptures, in Moses chapter 1, verses 31 to 40, God talks about the existence of worlds without number, but he deliberately limits what he reveals to Moses, saying, "Only an account of this earth give I unto you." So this passage suggests that God governs not only creation, but also the timing, scope, and purpose of revelation that he gives to humans. So if God deliberately withheld knowledge of other worlds, then maybe interaction across worlds, particularly direct visitation, would depend more on divine authorization than human ingenuity or technological discovery alone. So here's the big question. Have aliens ever visited planet Earth?
Bum, bum, bum.
I'm just going to say this because I've already alluded to this. Yes, of course. And if you need the evidence, go to Roswell, New Mexico, and there's a museum that has all the evidence. Yes, of course. And sometimes human ingenuity surpasses revelation. Sometimes human ingenuity makes it so God is like, oh my goodness, I didn't want to tell them about that, but they figured it out. And so, okay, I guess wormholes, you can use them to travel intergalactic.
Gosh.
Okay, now I'll be quiet.
Melanie, I want to hear it.
Acts as if she
I love
knows
the faces
physics.
you've made.
It's just like since Stranger Things season 5, you can't say wormhole and not make me die a little bit inside.
I don't know exactly about Stranger Things season 5, but I think it is possible there could be some upside down world and there's a wormhole that's connecting two worlds there. Something like that is possible, but it's also very likely. I've just seen too much evidence, not physical evidence, but chitter chatter to think that aliens haven't visited planet Earth. Go to the museum in Roswell, New Mexico. You will be persuaded. Okay, now
I was definitely persuaded. 100%.
Wait, so I don't know the story or your experience, Melanie. You're being facetious.
Yeah.
You're mocking your father.
Yeah.
What?
Tell me about that. Tell me about that museum. Was it just a joke?
So,
No.
Firstly, it was a poorly assembled museum. And I think if you're trying to convey information,
nice, strike one.
Should be portrayed in a reputable way. But also, a grand majority
Strike
of
one.
their evidence was first-hand accounts collected years after the fact. And when
Some
you
things are
live
unforgettable.
in a town of mystery, it's really easy to rewrite memories. You can ask me what happened last week, and I wouldn't be able to tell you. I think if you see a colorful cloud in the sky, And then the next day your neighbor's like, did you see that cloud? It kind of looked like a spaceship. You'd be like, yeah, it did kind of look like a spaceship. And it was glowing a little weirdly. And then it's not that hard a couple days later to see a weird deer carcass in your field and be like, that doesn't look like a deer. That looks like a person. And it's
Okay,
a little
pause.
green.
Nice, Melanie.
Pause.
Nice.
They
Nice,
have
Melanie. Nice.
dozens of sworn eyewitness statements in the museum. The Roswell event happened in 1946, and the statements were collected in 1996 on the 50th anniversary. So I don't think that it's fair to say that their memories were faded, because they saw what they saw and remembered it for 50 years.
And small towns never do desperate things to get tourists. May I remind you about a certain lake lamp statue in Chickasha, Oklahoma?
It's huge. It's huge. Yeah, that's true. What's so sad about Chickasha, just as a tangent, Chickasha, Oklahoma is very excited because they invented the leg lamp that got used in A Christmas Story, the movie. But do you know, at the same place in Chickasha, Oklahoma, is where the Tiger King is being kept in jail, and they never, ever talk about the Tiger King, but it's always about the leg lamp, when they could be talking about the Tiger King.
Now, Melanie, when I met your father in 1993, and I thought, this dude's a cool dude, really good guy, cool guy, I never thought that he'd become such a freaking nerd. To be quoting these things that he's quoting, talking about these interesting facts. He's become an old guy, these interesting facts. How's the weather, Matt? How's the weather for you right now? Talk about the weather, too.
So, Shawn, you're saying aliens have never visited planet Earth, ever.
Why would I say something that I have no idea. You have no idea. None of you have any idea. But I really enjoy watching Melanie just pick your opinions and experiences apart, because she's logical, Matt. She's logical.
I feel like I'm logical too. So, Shawn, but
it does spark a question that I would love you two to answer. I was watching on Instagram. There's a guy named Frank Turin or something like that. He's a big evangelical, very, very famous, popular guy. And whenever he has these big forums where people can ask him all these questions, and every now and then an LDS guy gets up there and asks him a good question, and they talk about it. And one of the debates that they've sunk into a lot is this idea of witnesses. So this whole thing is like, he says, hey, you don't have any witnesses of the Book of Mormon, that it was a miracle or whatever. And the LDS people always come back and say, well, you're talking like an atheist, right? Because there aren't any witnesses to give accounts that Jesus Christ was resurrected, yet you believe in it. And so that goes back to him saying, they go into this whole thing and say there are more witnesses of the Book of Mormon, like firsthand, reliable witnesses of the Book of Mormon who never recanted their witness, than there are for the resurrection of Jesus Christ. And so they always go to that. And I'm always like, what are you guys arguing about? Where our faith isn't based in the things that we see. I mean, there's some utility, right? Otherwise, God wouldn't have commanded these witnesses. But what do you think? Melanie, clearly you're like, Melanie, is your idea that their witnesses for these aliens are just unreliable because they weren't timely? Or do you think that would you still be singing this song if these witnesses and their testimonies were written down 5 minutes after they witness what they claim to have witnessed?
I think if their testimonies were written down 5 minutes later, I would be more inclined to think that there was something weird going on. But I do think that there are so many things in this world that we do not yet have the power and capacity to explain. And I think ascribing everything to little green men from Mars visiting us in spaceships is a little hasty.
Well, people saw them, Melanie. People saw them. And they saw people doing surgery on them. So
remember when I was like 5 years old and we were driving home from Utah and there was some satellite in the sky that was flashing, and I was convinced beyond belief that it was a UFO?
Yes?
Yeah, I believed that was a UFO for like probably at least 5 years before I was like, oh yeah, that was just a satellite. And I think that's probably a very common occurrence.
Let me ask you, Shawn, this in a different way. Do you believe, Shawn, that human ingenuity can overpower revelation? That God could say, I'm not telling you about this.
I like that
Earth.
question. Yeah, I really like that question, and we've talked about that quite a bit. Like we talked about Ozempic, for example. Is Ozempic this abomination that is going to cause lots of problems down the road because it's a drug, it's a chemical that we're putting in our bodies that's like it's and we're going to find that there's some danger in there. It certainly isn't helping human beings be disciplined, like the temple and the temple garments say about what we put into our bodies, right? Necessarily. But then the other side says, what if this is a God-given, like this holy and eternal chemical or whatever the drug is that is fixing humans on the one hand or the other, right? So we've had this discussion quite a bit. I tend to think that no, I have a little more faith in the fact that God is in charge. He is controlling what we have, what we know. And I don't think that mankind has the ability to surpass that. No, I don't think so.
But what about the idea that he might say, Moses, you're not ready for this, so I'm not going to tell you all this now. But someday in the future, Neil Armstrong's going to set his foot on the moon, and that's going to lead to more discovery that I can inspire later on, and then maybe people will discover other people and other planets.
But that's a different question. You're asking if God is waiting to reveal things at the right time versus can man access things beyond what God allows to be accessed. What's the question? Which one of those is the question?
No, they are different questions. I just think the fact that God says, I'm not going to tell you about this earth doesn't preclude the possibility that people out there or beings out there or people on other planets have figured out how to travel. And I personally think that these spaceships that we've got evidence of are humans. We're able to travel to other places. I think aliens have come here, and we've gone to other planets.
Wait, what?
So is this theory 100%? Is this theory 100% based on the evidence you saw at Roswell Museum?
No. There's been congressional testimony about these spacecraft. We don't know what to call them. We call them unidentified aerial something. I don't know what they're called. But they can travel 10,000 miles an hour, and they can stop on a dime and shift directions. They violate all known laws of physics, and we've got evidence of them on, like, pilots have recorded it, like naval ships have recorded it. They can go down in the water deeper than submarines can go in the water. And so, yeah, there's this technology that we've been recording.
And you're saying that there's government public records of all of that.
Yeah. And the official word is we don't know what it is. But I do. I know what it is. It's aliens.
Here's my question for you, Dad. Do you think it's more likely that these are human beings from other planets, or that people from our future have figured out how to travel back in time?
No, time travel isn't possible. I don't have time to teach physics to everybody. Time travel is not possible. But interplanetary travel is possible.
So time travel's not possible, but spaceships that violate all known laws of physics are.
Yeah, that's right.
Melanie, I love that the audience is getting a glimpse of what it's like to be in a household with your father growing up.
I wasn't always.
I mean, I got a little bit of it on the mission. Yeah, you're killing it.
Hey, listeners, I need your help on this one. It would be so helpful to me if you could write into the show. Melanie, because she's getting a degree in physics, feels like she knows more about this subject than I do. But I feel like she's wrong about a lot of these laws of physics. And so it'd be helpful if you could just write in and let me know that I'm right about this. It's fine if you guys agree with Melanie and Shawn too, but sometimes you just know deep in your soul that you're right about something. And this is one of those,
what?
as long as I've been alive, I've known that there were extraterrestrials that have visited our planet. X-Files spoke
hang
to
on.
me.
Oh, okay. What did you answer Melanie's question? Are they human beings on other planets, or are they different species?
Have you seen the movie Fire in the Sky?
Answer the question. Yeah, I have seen that. Yeah.
Okay, that guy was a member of our church who was abducted by aliens, and his story is that those big green eye things, those big black eyes, those are helmets. So it's people in helmets. They're just short people. They're humans that have visited our planet, but we've also visited their planet.
All right. This is where audience, this is where Matt crosses a line and starts to love to just be poking people. He loves to poke people. Do you, Matt, sincerely believe, that human beings from other planets have come here and for whatever reason they put the fashion that they're into is meant to look like green frog people? Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying that's the spacesuits that they wear, right? Like an astronaut would look really weird. And right? I don't think that we shouldn't think humans have like big glass reflective faces because that's the helmet.
What evidence do you have that they're human beings with frog spacesuits on?
Fire in the Sky, and he's a member of our church.
The movie
who was abducted.
So, listener, I will point out that my father's evidence is a science fiction film.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not sci-fi. It's
wow.
I forget the guy's name, but he's a member of our church. He was out like cutting down trees in Arizona, and he got abducted by aliens. And he wrote his story.
Do you believe his witness? You believe his witness because he's a member of the church?
It adds to his credibility, in my opinion. Yeah. I mean, this is the Latter-day Lens, so I'm trying to bring.
Was he a mission president? Was he a mission president?
Okay, I'm not convincing Shawn or Melanie, but that was an awesome way to end the podcast. So, hey, listeners, thanks for joining us this week. Thanks for sticking through this discussion about the big question in extraterrestrial life. Can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about that. Talk to you again next week. Join us next week for another exciting episode of The Latter-day Lens. In the meantime, subscribe, give us a like, or visit our website, latterdaylens.com, where you can see our archives and other episodes. You can comment on the show at thelatterdayLens@gmail.com, all one word. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you for making us one of the most listened to podcasts. We love our listeners.